said, this is Liliana Pacheco, the Director of Community Engagement of Save the Dogs and Other Animals. I'm Gregg Tully. I'm the Country Director of Save the Dogs. We'd love for you to ask questions. If you could please remember them and ask at the end of the presentation, that would be fantastic. So here we are. Save the Dogs and Other Animals has about 50 staff in Romania and about all right, don't move. Okay. Yeah, about 50 staff in Romania, 17 in Italy. We mainly work in a deeply disadvantaged area of southeast Romania where there are countless animals suffering. We also help the animal victims of the war in Ukraine, which we're going to talk about tomorrow in one of the rooms right over there. That's a little self-promotion. We also run community engagement projects, and this... Okay. And so this is about one of these community engagement projects. Now, we focus a lot on helping animals in the community. As many of you know, sterilizations are essential for reducing the number of homeless dogs and cats and also preventing puppies and kittens from living short lives on the streets. We rescue dogs and cats in need, provide veterinary treatment. When possible, we return them to their home areas or to their caregivers. When that's not possible, we keep them in a high-quality shelter and rehome them. We also rescue donkeys and horses who are abused, neglected, and abandoned, and we give them lifelong care in a sanctuary. But rather than bringing every animal in need into our facilities, we're now focusing much more on helping people stay with their animals, including by providing care in the communities. So this is Rasova. Rasova was owned by an impoverished elderly couple in a village in Romania, and they couldn't take care of him any longer, so they gave him to us. This picture on the left is from December, and the one on the right is a few months later. I mean, it's hard to believe it's the same donkey. And this, I'm showing you this because it's an example of the importance of an organization being well integrated into their community. The owners of Rasova knew Save the Dogs, and they trusted us, so they were willing to trust us with the care of the rest of their life of their donkey. Now, a problem in the area where we work in Romania is that animals are generally treated, they're working animals, they're not pets, they're not companions. Donkeys and horses are used for labor. Most dogs are guard dogs, or they're basically doorbells. They're there to bark when strangers come. Cats are usually used for catching mice and rats, so there isn't a strong bond between people and animals. Another problem is widespread poverty. People are struggling to take care of themselves, and they don't have the resources to provide proper care for their animals. It's a really difficult situation. So this year, we took Save the Dogs in a new direction, and we launched a multifaceted program named Connecting Lives to engage with the community and to improve the lives of their animals. So the goal is to improve the well-being of disadvantaged people and improve the welfare of animals by strengthening the bonds between them. And we do this through empowering people, through education, capacity building, and we also provide free services. It's a lot of the mistreatment of animals that happens in Romania is just because of lack of awareness. So we're focusing a lot on educating people about the needs of animals and how they can take better care of them. Also, we've learned it's valuable to understand people's needs from their perspective, not from our external point of view. And by really listening to people, we gain their trust, and then they'll listen to us about how they can take better care of their animals. So now Liliana is going to talk about one unique pilot project that's part of this Connecting Lives program.
Okay. How does it work?
Just push the button.
Which one?
Or left, right arrow.
This one?
Yeah.
Hello. It's very nice to be here and to see all the audience just listening very carefully. So I'm going to talk about one of the projects that we have within the community engagement program. And thank you. And it is a program that we have with a prison. It's a prison that is really nearby our shelter. And it's the prison and also the hospital. The hospital is very small, and it has more than 25 psychiatric patients, so with mental illnesses. And they are part of the community too, so they really need to be taken into account. And that is why we are there to help them. So just as a little background for Port Alba, which is the prison, okay. So Port Alba was built in 1949, and it has not been renewed ever since. And I think there's a slide missing, but it's okay.
Yeah, this is the old version of the presentation.
Yeah. I'm sorry, very sorry. I can keep on going, and then just slide. Anyway, so what do you prefer that I do? Should I keep on just talking so we don't lose time? Yes? Okay. So for a community engagement project, the prison, as I was saying, it's nearby our shelter. It was built by when the Ceausescu era, and that was really tough for Romania. And this prison has not been improved ever since. So it's really, really old and in bad conditions. Out of the 100% of the area that they have, they only use, and it's usable less than 30% of it. And it's a male prison, it's only for men. It has more than 1,000 prisoners inside. There's only a slot for 25 psychiatric patients, which is very, very small number. And most of them, they come from a different background of drug addiction and also alcoholism, which makes them like dual patients, like with a psychiatric issue and an addiction. And they really do have a problem at the prison with the staffing, and they don't have staff neither for protection, neither for education. They don't have a psychologist, they have one psychiatrist for the whole prison. So it's very, very tough for them to really recover from whatever they are going through. Also remember that they deintoxicating from their abuse background, and that creates a very serious problem. The European community and the European Union asked them to, before 2025, to have the prison to be renewed because the conditions are overwhelming. They're overcrowded, and also to have an educational program. As you can read, there's 40% of inmates that in less than 1 year, they go back to prison because they have no job skills, they have no educational program, and they have no possibility of being reintegrated into a community that rejects them. And also, no organization wants to work with them, and not to say for free. And so Save the Dogs is doing that, and the prison and the staff are really glad for that. So we have 3 different programs in Port Alba. One of the first of them is a sterilization program. And why is that? Port Alba is a prison, but there are a lot of animals inside the prison. They have cats, they have dogs, and they have 4 horses. and no one takes care of these animals, just the prisoners every once in a while and the ones that really care about them. So they asked us, Save the Dogs, to do a sterilization program, and we're conducting it very, very thoroughly and very, very well. And so that helped us connect with the prisoners into creating this educational program that would involve the animals, the community, say in the prison community, the community outside, and also the animals. And for that, we created two programs. One, which is donkey-assisted intervention with the donkeys at our shelter, that provides job skills, and also they prepare them for being reintroduced into the society. And then we have the program which is only happening at the prison, and it is with the psychiatric wing inside the prison, and it's in collaboration with the Roots and Shoots program of the Jane Goodall Global. So we follow all the steps, but all condensed in a very short time. So what is that we're doing with the prisoners that come to the shelter? We train them into a new job. We live in a very remote area where it's a rural area, and they don't really have job skills. And we have a lot of donkeys outside and inside, and it is very interesting for them to learn the skills on how to take care of them. And that is going to make them more successful, if that is possible, to be reintegrated into getting a job, into the rural community at least. And so with this toolkit that we provide them, it helps the inmate to feel more empathy, first towards themselves, and then compassion and empathy towards the animals, the donkeys that they're working with. And it gives them the sense of self-worth, self-control of what they are doing, and self-control of their life. And also, by the training that they're giving, it makes them understand a little bit more about the environment, the welfare of the animals and the animals in general and their needs, and also about the community, that they need to be reintegrated and also be accepted, because they know that they have done wrong to the community, and one of their greatest desires is to be normal again. So at every session, we have two different sections. One is to interact with the animals directly, which we can call it donkey-assisted intervention. I wouldn't call it therapy, donkey-assisted intervention, which is calming. It has very different effects, and it's very good for the animals because they have their social enrichment, and very good for the prisoners. And also, of course, as job skills, in every session we provide them with different occupational workshops in which they prepare this enrichment for the animals, and also they are trained in how to take care of the paddocks and the areas where the animals are going to be living, and the necessities, the 5 basic freedoms for the animals, the water and the food and what they eat, etc., because most of the time they're not taken care of, not because the people don't want to, but because people don't know. So education is very important. Here's a few of the benefits for the prisoners and for the animals. There's a calming influence that goes in both ways. It helps the prisoners also, as I said before, to manage their emotions. For prisoners who are very active and very nervous or have a lot of anxiety, being with an animal keeps them in self-control. Also for the prisoners and for everyone, interacting with people makes us feel like can be judged depending on what we say, what we talk, and the feeling that we have with the other. That does not happen with animals. So being with the donkeys is a really de-stressing relationship that they create with them. They have this bond. And this is a mindfulness effect too, because the animals, they live in the present. They don't live in the past, which is depression. They don't live in the future, could be anxiety. They live in the now. And this is a very important thing that the inmates need to learn in order not to, 5 minutes, okay, in order not to be stressed. So for the Roots and Shoots program, it's a pilot program. It's only 7 months. It only has 7 months, and there's more than 80,000 groups around the world in more than 70 countries, and we are the only ones in the world actually who has this type of program that works with prisoners with mental health issues in very disadvantaged areas. So it's a pilot project. Our goal is to provide tools to give them hope and become good role models for their family and their community. Again, they know, they're very aware that they have done wrong, so they want to do good this time and for good. So we aim at developing compassionate leaders by inspiring them to take positive action into society through caring about them, caring about the community, and caring about the animals and the environment. The sessions at the hospital, really fast. They only have 2 hours every 2 weeks, which is very little, but the inmates learn how to do some crafts that sometimes are dog toys, beds for cats, etc., and everything is done with recycled materials, so they understand also the environment. They work together to develop these abilities, and they get mentally stimulated, and it's the only opportunity that they have to be together from different ethnic cultures, etc., and they work together in groups because that's what we need. This is so far some of the, sorry, where's the thing? I lost.
I got it.
Oh.
Is it okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, it was a little slow. My mistake.
Okay, so this is so far what we have done. You can see that their recycled materials are like animals love it. This is the examples that I take out of the prison, but this is what they also have in the prison for their animals and what they give to their families and their communities. And they are very, very happy to be able to do that because sometimes they don't have almost anything. And these objects mean that they can create and they can be supportive to their family, even if it is through the animals. Here's a little of other examples. This is one of our little kitties in the office. The inmates working to clean the paddocks and learning how to do it properly, so for the health of the animals. And next. This is Peace Day. This is one very important for the Roots and Shoots Jane Goodall program. And the name that the prisoners gave to the group is Pace in Mine, which it is in Romanian, which means peace within me. So peace starts in me. So this is very important, and it is an important message for them too. And just testimonial, I'm going to read it right like it is. Through this program, I have understood that hurting, like cutting itself and hurt really myself does not help me and neither help others. I love animals and they are my inspiration. I understood that I have a purpose and it gives hope, and it gives me hope. And his name is Paul, and he might be our next staff for donkey caring. And here I give it to Gregg.
Thank you.
So fastly,
So
he's gonna go.
to wrap things up, yeah, there are a number of challenges with this project. I mean, one of them is in the hospital and the prison, people don't stay there forever. In the 7 months that Liliana's been running this, she's worked with 116 different inmates in the hospital. So this turnover is a challenge. Prison rules are an obstacle too. They limit the amount of time that we can spend there. And these prisoners are not, especially in the hospital, they're not easy to work with. You know, they have short attention spans, they get bored. Liliana has to have different activities ready depending on what they're capable of doing. A lot of them have come from backgrounds of drug addiction, alcoholism, and they're diverse as well. You know, they come from different ethnicities, different cultures. They've been convicted of different crimes. They suffer from different mental illnesses. But so far, the results have been impressive. As she said, this is a pilot project, and now we're working on creating a bigger plan that can be a model, hopefully, for similar projects around the world. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Liliana and Gregg, for your amazing sharing. So you want to have some questions? Are you? Well, time's up, but maybe we can take one or two, or maybe they can see you after your talk as well. Yeah. All right. So if any one of you has got any questions, all right, we'll take one now. I think we can just take one now. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, hi. I was just wondering, how do you ensure the safety of the animals, knowing that the inmates are the one looking after them? Because we are trying to look into this kind of programs in Singapore as well. So I think that was one of the concerns, the safety of the animals, yeah.
Okay, so to begin with, these animals are working animals, so they are very used to being around people. They're also very social and very intelligent. And in the past, we have had a donkey-assisted therapy with children with disabilities, and so they are trained to be calm and to be patient. It's not that we work with the 60 animals at once. We will create a paddock to work with them, so they're going to be like in little groups. And there's always one or two donkey carriers with them. And the educator and me. So the safety is not an issue with these animals for the time being.
Yeah, prison staff and our own staff are always keeping an eye on what they're doing.
All right. Okay, so thank you for the questions. Thank you, Liliana and Gregg, all right? Thank you so much. A big round of applause for the both of them.